Long before the tarred roads came, before radios learned human voices, there was a village called Umudike, tucked between a forest that never fully slept and a river that whispered even at noon. Umudike was a village of rules. Some rules were small. Don't whistle at night. Don't fetch water when the moon is red. Others were carved into bone and fear, but none was more fear than this. When night has swallowed the moon, never answer a knock. The elders said night had ears. They said darkness remembered names better than people did. And they said the dead were not always ready to stay buried. Children were told the rule as warning. Adults followed it as a prayer. Only fools forgot. Ngozi the widow. Ngozi had lived in Umudike all her life. She knew the rules. She respected them. She had lost her husband, Obina, to a sudden sickness 3 rainy seasons ago. And since then, she lived quietly at the edge of the village, where the forest crept close enough to brush the walls of her mud house. Loneliness had a way of making sounds louder. At night, the owls cried closer. The wind pressed harder against her door. Memories spoke when people did not. Her only comfort had been her childhood friend Amara, until Amara died. Amara's death had been wrong. She had gone to the river one evening and never returned. Her body was found the next morning downstream, eyes open, mouth twisted, as though she had tried to scream underwater. The elders said the river took her. But whispers said something else followed her home that night. Ngozi attended the burial. She cried until her chest burned. She watched the earth cover her friend and told herself the dead belonged to the ground. She believed that until the night the rain came early. The first knock. The rain fell without warning, heavy and sharp, drumming on rooftops like impatient fingers. Ngozi had eaten early and banked her fire low. Thunder growled far away. The moon hid completely, followed by thick clouds. She was halfway into sleep when she heard it. Knock, not loud, not forceful, polite. She sat up at once, heart pounding. Visitors did not come at night in Umudike. Not without calling first, not without reason. Then it came again. Knock, knock. Ngozi wrapped a cloth tighter around herself. Who is there? She called, immediately regretting it. The elders said never ask. Asking meant listening. A woman's voice answered, soft, familiar, soaked in the rain. Ngozi, open the door. Her breath caught. That voice had once laughed beside her at the river. That voice had shared secrets and roasted corn and dreams of growing old together. No, Ngozi whispered. It can't be. The voice sighed. Close now. Too close. Do you no longer recognize me? Ngozi slid off her mat, her legs shaking. Amara, she breathed. The name tasted like ash. The voice at the door. I am cold, the voice said. The rain followed me. Open the door, my sister. Ngozi's hand moved on its own toward the wooden latch. Amara had always hated the cold. Amara always called her my sister. Her chest tightened with grief, so sharp it felt like punishment. What if, just what if, this was some mercy she did not understand? Then she remembered. At Amara's burial, the oldest elder had spoken quietly to the women. If she calls your name at night, do not answer. Water does not always return what it takes. Ngozi's hand froze inches from the door. She swallowed hard and stepped back. If you are truly Amara, she said, forcing strength into her voice, tell me the secret we shared by the river, the one no one else knows. Silence. The rain slowed. The forest stopped breathing. Then the voice changed. What was never human? You were never meant to remember, it said. The voice cracked, deepened, layered, as though many throats spoke at once. The knocking returned, no longer polite. Bang! The door shuddered. Ngozi screamed and stumbled backward as the wooden frame groaned. Open, the voice roared. You called me by name. The ground trembled beneath her feet. The walls of her hut vibrated, dust falling from the rafters. Ngozi dropped to her knees and prayed, loud, desperate, broken. She called on God, on the ancestors, on every name she had ever been taught to fear and trust. The knocking grew furious. Bang! 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 Something scratched the door, slow, deliberate, like nails learning the shape of wood. Between prayers, Ngozi heard breathing. Right outside the door, wet, heavy, patient. The longest nighttime lost meaning. The oil lamp flickered and died. Darkness swallowed everything except the sound at the door. Then came the whispering. Not just one voice now, but many, calling her name in different tones, crying like children, laughing like old women. Ngozi pressed her back against the wall, teeth chattering, eyes wide. Just when she felt she would lose her mind, a distant sound cut through the noise. Cock-a-doodle-doo, the first rooster. The knocking stopped instantly. The whispers vanished. The rain eased into silence. Ngozi collapsed, sobbing, and stayed where she was until sunlight pushed timid fingers through the cracks in her walls. Morning truth. When the sun finally rose fully, Ngozi gathered her courage and opened the door. Nothing stood there. No body. No visitor. Only footprints. Wet footprints pressed into the red earth, many of them leading toward her door, none leading away. The others came when she screamed. They saw the marks. They said nothing at first. Then the oldest among them shook his head slowly. You answered, he said, but you did not invite. That is why you still live. Ngozi never slept through the night again. But still knocks from that day, Omudike became stricter with its rules. Doors were barred before dark. Children were dragged inside at sunset. No one called another person's name after midnight. But sometimes, especially on moonless rainy nights, knocking is still heard in the village. Soft, patient, polite. And the elders say, it is not looking for company. It is looking for permission, loyalty.